Awakening message for the last 6 months of 2025. If you can still hear this, you might have been chosen. At exactly noon on the 0th of May 2025, something that has never occurred in all of modern history will officially begin. The year 2050 will be closer than the year 2000. It sounds as simple as numbers, but if you are sufficiently awake, you will sense a great door silently swinging on its hinge, because this is not just a matter of time but a shift in collective destiny. All of humanity is crossing a threshold and your soul is being summoned. Have you felt unusually tired lately for no clear reason? Do you find yourself anxious even when there is nothing specific to worry about? Do you sense that something very important is about to happen but cannot name it? You are not imagining this, because time does not merely pass, it changes direction. From that moment onward, we enter the last 6 months of a year unlike any other, a pivotal year, a year of destiny. If you take the wrong step, you may repeat the old cycle. If you take the right step, you will activate a completely new cycle for the rest of your life. Have you noticed that time seems to be speeding up? Each day feels shorter. Events from just a few years ago now seem like they belong to another lifetime. The unexplained fatigue, the occasional disorientation, the sudden unrest without cause may not be fleeting emotions but signs, a real signal from a transformation silently unfolding within the world and within you. And if you pay attention, there is a special milestone approaching. The 0th of May 2025. It is not a public event. There will be no celebration, no sensational announcement. Yet at a deeper level something profound will occur. From that day forward, 2050 will be closer than 2000. It may seem like a simple subtraction of dates, but sometimes the most ordinary numbers carry profound messages, because time is not just days and months, it is a journey. If you look closely, you will see that from May 1st, 2000 to May 0, 2025 there are 9,315 days, but from May 0, 2025 to May 1st, 2050 there are only 8,948 days. That means the path to 2050 is now shorter than the path we have just walked since the year 2000. We are standing in the middle of a bridge of time. On one side lies the past with all you have experienced, the hopes, the missed opportunities, the lessons still unfinished, and on the other side lies the future with all that is yet to happen, which will be determined by the choices you make from this moment. You are here, and there is little time left for hesitation. Let us examine the numbers. 9,315, the days of the past 25 years, composed of digits rich in meaning. 9 represents completion and fulfillment. 3 represents the balance between the divine and the mind. 1 represents yourself, the individual ego on this unique journey, and 5 represents change and transformation. This indicates we have passed through a long period of learning, trials, and preparation which is now concluded. The number 8,948, the days remaining until 2050, reveals a new significance. 8 symbolizes an infinite cycle and renewal. 9 remains a reminder of endings, but this time an active closing of what no longer fits, for is the foundation, the new stability that must be established. And again 8 emphasizes that everything is now turning to return to its proper course. This is a period in which you no longer live in memories but live in choice. From that date onward, everything you have postponed will return to ask you, are you ready yet? Everything you know you should have started but have not will appear clearly, not to frighten you, but to offer you a very real opportunity, the opportunity to realign your direction. The last 6 months of 2025 are not the conclusion but the first step of a new cycle, not an extension of the old, but the true beginning on a spiritual level. Mystics call the period from 2025 to 2044 the 9th cycle, a 20-year span in which the energy of fire, awakening, and feminine wisdom ascends, followed by a transition phase until 2050. A landmark when the collective soul axis of the world will be reshaped. This means that the choices you sow today, even the smallest ones, will become the seeds for the larger tapestry you will inhabit over the next 25 years. You may think yourself small, but the decisions you make at this pivotal moment will quietly rewrite the timeline ahead. The world does not demand great deeds from you, but your soul asks, when will you live true to yourself? If your answer has always been some distant day, remember this, that future is now closer than the past. No need to run. Simply take the right steps. If you are still reading these lines, it may not be by chance. You may be the one chosen to listen, to begin, and to never return to old ways. Let your next steps not only inaugurate the remainder of this year, but open an entirely new journey for the rest of your life. 2,552. The number that many people have encountered recently is a message, an invitation, a symbolic code for turning back and transformation. If you have lived wrongly, suffered, or hurt someone, it is okay. What matters is whether you have the courage to make amends. It does not matter if you dare to start living differently even a little each day, because when you shift your frequency, you not only change your life, but you also alter your family's karmic stream. The resonant energy field you belong to changes accordingly. In this period, absolutely avoid interfering with others' karma. You may feel compassion for them and suffer with them, but you cannot carry their burden. Interfering in another's karma is like putting your hand into a running blender. You will only hurt yourself without helping at all. True healing does not come from rescuing others, but from living your own part first. Your part is to protect yourself both physically and mentally. Eat healthily, exercise regularly, avoid stimulants, and get sufficient sleep, because when your body is exhausted, your mind weakens, and when your mind is weak, you become vulnerable to negative information, trivial drama, and seemingly harmless temptations. Awakening message for the last 6 months of 2025. During this period, energy is as precious as gold. Conserve it. Prioritize whatever nourishes you and quietly release whatever drains you. Awakening does not mean never making mistakes, but knowing what you are doing and why. When you observe your emotions, you are not led by them. When you observe your thoughts, you have the right to choose whether to believe them or not. And that is true freedom, freedom that needs no permission, freedom that comes from within. Finally, while the world counts down to 2050, to clean energy, to recycling, to education, to a sustainable future, the real question is not whether the world will change, but whether you are ready to live the future your soul truly longs for. A future does not come from a grand plan, but from quiet choices. Today you meditate 5 more minutes, you eat mindfully, you turn off your phone early to sleep, you do not argue when misunderstood. These actions are small but enduring, and it is those enduring actions that create the real future. Do you remember the year 2000? The Nokia 3310 was called indestructible. Facebook did not exist. The iPhone was only an idea. The internet was slower than a walking pace. We still wrote by hand, listened to cassette tapes, and felt life move slowly, not because there was less to do, but because our minds were more spacious. Then, only 25 years later, everything seems to have entered another dimension. We live in a world where information arrives like a storm, time flies like an arrow, and life is consumed rather than experienced. Our inner space is occupied by hundreds of tasks, thousands of things to keep up with, and in that current we forget that no matter how much the outside world changes, if we do not change from within, all external progress is just scenery in a film over which we have no control. There are only 24 years left until 2050. You might think there is still time, but recall how quickly the past 25 years passed. How many times did you intend to learn a new skill, improve your health, spend time with family, live closer to what your soul really wants, only to stop because you thought you would do it when you were free? And someday never comes. That is why 2025, especially from mid-year onward, carries a clear and direct message. Either you begin living authentically now, or you will continue to postpone your real life once more. If you delay too long, life will choose for you. Awakening is not the moment you sit and see a white light. Awakening is when you recognize that you have been walking the wrong path for too long and you refuse to take another step in that direction. It is the moment you tell yourself, I cannot continue living this way for another day. You do not need to know your entire life plan. You only need to know the next step and have the courage to take it. The journey of self-rescue begins with radical honesty. Honesty about what you have wasted in the past. Honesty about the wounds you have tried to avoid. Honesty about the responsibilities you have neglected. True awakening does not stop there. It is when you forgive yourself. No one can save a soul that you yourself have despised. Forgiveness does not mean denying mistakes. Forgiveness means acknowledging the past and at the same time granting yourself the right to rewrite the future. You may have lived unconsciously for many years. You may have exchanged peace for recognition. You may have neglected your intuition to please others. But you may also begin to remember who you once were. Remember that you once had a genuine heart. Remember that at some moment in your life you yearned for something far more noble than your current existence. No one can walk for you. No one can start over for you. No one can take responsibility for you but yourself. You do not need to go fast, but you must go steadily. You do not need to know all the answers, but you need enough courage to ask again, what am I truly living for? And once you dare to live with that question every day, you have begun to awaken. No one can hold back time, but everyone can choose how to live within it. The deepest regret is not what we did, but what we did not do. Not daring to say, I love you. Not daring to start over. not daring to rest when overwhelmed, not daring to choose what is right out of fear of losing the familiar, not daring to believe that we deserve a more meaningful life. Time passing is not a tragedy. The tragedy is standing still while time flows. The tragedy is existing in life without truly living. The tragedy is being granted the chance to awaken each day but wasting it as if we will never die. Hello, you who are present here at exactly the right moment. You may have come to this practice out of curiosity, out of a vague inner urge, or perhaps because your soul chose to hear this long ago and today is simply the right time. This practice is not meant to help you relax superficially. It is not for you to temporarily forget your busy life, but for you to remember something very important that once belonged to you and still waits for your return. The past has receded, and the future is drawing near, so near that if you do not pause and realign, you may lose yourself in its current. This practice is created for you to return to your own center, the only place where you can truly change the timeline ahead. Not through effort, not through haste, but through full presence in each breath. Now find a space quiet enough. Mute the outside noise and turn on the inner call. When you are ready, we will begin. 1. Close your eyes and relax your shoulders, jaw, and belly. 2. Exhale slightly longer than usual, then inhale deeply yet gently. 3. As you exhale, feel everything unnecessary flowing out of you. 4. As you inhale, affirm your presence. As you exhale, affirm your return. 5. Sense your body sitting here, yet held by something greater than space and time as a new stream of energy arrives. Meditation on the timeline. In your mind, imagine a timeline stretching before you. Behind you lies the year 2000, and ahead of you lies the year 2050. You are standing exactly at the middle point on the 0th of May 2025. Look back at the 9,315 days that have passed, those years you lived, loved, feared, and let go, lying behind you like pages of a completed book. Breathe in and thank the past for its lessons. Breathe out and gently close those old pages. Now look forward. 8,948 days remain waiting for you to live them. All you once dreamed, all the promises you made to yourself and then abandoned, are waiting, not for anyone else, but for you, your true self. Breathe in and silently tell the future, I am ready. Breathe out and send a gentle vow from your heart, I will live authentically from today onward. Meditation, imagine light on the bridge of time. Envision yourself standing on a bridge made of light. A gentle breeze flows beneath your feet as the river of time runs beneath. Each step you take is a step of mindful living. You do not need to see the entire path. Just take one right step, then the next. Breathe in, you step toward your true self. Breathe out, you release all old roles you no longer need. If your mind wanders, bring your right hand to your chest, feel the beat of your heart, and silently say, I am returning. Choose an intention for the last 6 months of 2025. When your mind is settled, select a phrase as your guiding vow for the next 6 months. You may choose one of these or create your own. I choose to live authentically, without rushing. I will no longer postpone my soul. I step lightly yet truly each day. Living authentically is a day of rebirth. I am rewriting the future with each action today. Breathe in and silently recite your chosen vow. Breathe out and feel it spread through your body. Repeat 3 times. To conclude, return to the present. Breathe in deeply one final time. Breathe out slowly, gently, and feel the room you are in and the body you inhabit. When you are ready, open your eyes and carry this clarity into your day. You need not hurry. Remember that you are living in the first half of a new cycle, and only you can choose who you will become by 2050. You may return to this meditation at the start of each month from July through December 2025 as a ritual to realign and renew your energy. Write down your reflections after each session to track your inner transformation. If you are hearing this, perhaps it is more than a video, it is an appointment between your soul and reality, a reminder you sent to yourself years ago that when this moment arrived, you would awaken. And if you have awakened, do not fall back asleep. Step out of the dream of postponement and into a life that is real, where you do not merely exist, but are truly present, where you do not merely work but contribute, where you do not merely wish but take action. No one can promise that everything will be easy, but you can promise yourself that you will no longer hide, you will no longer betray yourself, you will no longer let precious days slip away in meaningless repetition. Start with something small, an apology, a mindful breath, a meal without phone distractions, an hour off social media, a day of living truthfully, and then a week, then a month, then a lifetime. Life does not wait, yet it remains patient with those who dare to begin. Today may be that first day. Strange paradox. The more we wait for the perfect moment to begin, the more we miss the moment we already have. Many believe they must be fully prepared, fully at peace before they can live authentically. But the truth is that no one is ever fully ready, and it is living authentically bit by bit that creates the readiness you seek. Beginning is not the act of those who are already perfect. Beginning is the gift of humble souls who dare to live amid uncertainty. You need not wait for everything to settle. Choose to live authentically even while things are still unsettled. Choose to love even while wounded. Choose to be present even when your mind is restless. Then a miracle will occur. Time, the very thing you once felt was taking everything away, will become what nourishes everything. Each day will no longer be a number that passes, but a quiet space in which to grow. Ask yourself, if you had only 24 years left to live, would you live as you do today? If the answer is no, then do not wait for a miracle. You are the miracle life has been waiting for. Rewrite the story you are living, word by word, through small, consistent, purposeful actions. That is how you answer the call of your soul, not with grandeur, but with presence, not with promises, but with practice. And if you fear you will stumble along the way, remember this: no one walks alone. There are energies silently supporting you from your ancestors, from nature, from the universe. Take one sincere step, and you will find 1,000 more unfolding beneath your feet. Do not live as if time is infinite. Live as if every moment is a seed, because it truly is. A seed of love you sow today may become the forest of healing tomorrow. A right action you choose today may become the thread that connects you to the future you deserve. And if you are hearing these words not by chance, perhaps your soul knew long before your mind that this moment, mid-2025, is when you would remember who you once were and begin to live as that self once again.